They put a human on trial, in the middle of an alien galaxy, chained, shirtless, smirking. Thousands watched, waiting for him to beg. But he didn't. He flirted. He joked. He made the judge's daughter blush. And just when they thought he was harmless, he looked straight into the alien jury and whispered, "You brought me here in chains, but I'm about to rewire your whole galaxy." And what happened next shocked even the gods. Welcome to Humanity Prime HFY, where we bring you stories that prove one thing: never underestimate a human. I'm Jackson Cole, your voice, your narrator, and your guide into today's wild ride. A tale of seduction, rebellion, and one dangerously clever human who made the galaxy his courtroom. Let's begin the story. They dragged him in wearing nothing but chains and a crooked smile. His skin was bruised, but glowing under the cold lights of the alien courtroom. Every step he took echoed louder than the gasps from the crowd. The room was filled with creatures from 27 galaxies, tall ones with glowing skin, fat ones that oozed from their chairs, and one judge whose eyes pulsed every time she looked at him. The name on his file, Earth Specimen 001. The charges: theft of a warship, hacking ancient vaults, seducing 3-star princesses. He sat down slowly, like he owned the chair, then looked straight at the tribunal and winked. Gasps again. A deep voice boomed from the center. "Human 001, you are guilty of intergalactic crimes. How do you plead?" He tilted his head. "Well, you left out the part where I also kissed your daughter." The room exploded into angry hissing. Security bots locked in tighter, but he just leaned back, like he was sipping whiskey on a Sunday. A translator stepped forward. Long legs, tight black suit, skin shimmered like moonlight. She cleared her throat. "I'm assigned to assist you in communication." He looked her up and down, slowly. "Sweetheart, communication won't be the problem, but I'll need assistance if I stare too long." Her cheeks, or whatever passed for cheeks, flushed violet. The main judge slammed his fist. "You will show respect in this court." He stood up, chain rattling. "I'm showing a lot of things. Respect somewhere on the list." A nervous laugh rippled through the audience. The translator whispered, "You're going to get yourself executed." He smiled sideways. "Let them try. I've already escaped twice, once using a fork and once using charm. Want to guess which one was harder?" She blinked. He grinned. The trial began. Evidence was displayed, holograms of him dancing half-naked on a Zarnian emperor's ship. Another clip showed him blowing kisses while stealing the ship's AI core. In one shot, he's shirtless, covered in alien lipstick, surrounded by giggling soldiers. The prosecutor screamed, "This is not a warrior! This is a virus in human form!" The crowd roared. He raised a hand. "If being sexy is a crime, then yeah, I'm guilty." More laughter. But under that smirk, something darker brewed. His eyes kept scanning the walls, every movement, every breath. He wasn't here to joke. He was reading the room, like a hunter. Suddenly, the lights dimmed. An alien guard stepped in with a silver syringe. Truth serum, mandatory. He didn't flinch. The needle slid in. The chemical entered his blood. The prosecutor leaned in. "Now, speak the truth, Earthman." He looked up, then grinned wider. "You want truth? Here's one. Your wife texted me last night." Chaos. The serum didn't break him. It made him sharper. His body pulsed with heat. Muscles tightened. Eyes glowed just slightly red. The judge stood. "This is impossible. That serum is meant to break the strongest minds." He rolled his neck. "Yeah, but it was designed for alien brains. Human testosterone says hello." The female jurors started shifting uncomfortably. One crossed her legs, another bit her lower lip, unaware she even had one. Gave the translator a kiss on the forehead. "Hold this gun, and if anyone else shows up with more than 2 arms, shoot him." He turned, cracking his knuckles, and walked straight toward the beast. bare hands, no armor, just a smirk. The translator whispered in shock. Is he going to fight that thing? Shirtless? A nearby alien muttered, "Humans are insane." The trial enforcer roared. He just smiled and said one last thing. "I hope this thing hits harder than my ex." The trial enforcer stepped forward. Each of his 6 metal arms clanked with thunder. Every step he took made the courtroom shake. Smoke hissed from his vents, eyes glowing red, like a furnace about to explode. The translator gripped the pulse gun tight. She whispered, "He's gonna get crushed." But the human, still shirtless, still smiling, didn't move. He looked up at the monster, tilted his head. "Big guy, you got 6 arms, but not one for hugs?" The enforcer roared and charged. He came in swinging, fists the size of planets. One punch, and it would have ended a normal man. But he wasn't a normal man. The human ducked, twisted, slid right under the monster's legs. The crowd gasped. He slapped the enforcer on the back as he passed. "Missed me, sweetheart." The creature spun around and struck again. The blow hit the marble floor, cracking it wide open. But the human had already leapt off a bench and landed on the enforcer's shoulder. He pounded 2 quick punches into the metal neck. Didn't dent it, but he found what he was looking for, a tiny blue light pulsing behind the armor. He grinned. Well, well, even alien tanks have weak spots. He pulled a wire from the enforcer's helmet. Sparks flew. The beast screamed in rage and tried to grab him, but he flipped off midair, landed hard, rolled once, and came up smiling. "You know, this fight reminds me of my ex's cooking." Looked at the trail of chaos he'd left behind, then looked at her. "Time to make a choice, sweetheart." He held out his hand again. "You want to be part of a history book? Or a bedtime story they're too scared to tell?" She stared at his hand, trembling. The sirens blared louder. Footsteps echoed in the distance. The walls were closing in. And yet, she smiled, took his hand, and whispered, "I always liked bad decisions." They ran for the exit as the black guard entered the building. The sirens were now screaming like angry gods. The translator clutched his hand tightly as they dashed down the corridor, her heels clicking like gunshots on the steel floor. Behind them, the doors burst open. The black guard had arrived. 12 of them, tall, armored, faceless, like walking coffins with laser rifles. The leader raised a hand. "Fleeing the court is a Class A offense, punishable by disintegration." The human didn't even turn around. He just muttered, "They talk too much," then pulled the translator behind a wall and tossed something round behind him. Boom! Smoke, sparks, a flashbang laced with earth spice. The black guard staggered, and that's when he grabbed the translator's waist and jumped, straight into the courtroom waste chute. They fell fast, twisting through dark pipes. He grinned midair, holding her close. "If we survive this fall, I'm calling it our first date." She coughed. "You're insane." He smirked. "And you're still holding on." They slammed into a trash bay, full of broken robot limbs and shredded documents. She groaned. "Ugh, this is disgusting." He helped her up, brushing metal pieces off her shoulder. "Yeah, but now we smell like garbage. Perfect disguise." She looked down at herself. "This isn't how I imagined escaping a courtroom." He leaned closer. "I can make it more romantic if I lose the pants." She have him a look. "That better be a joke." He whispered, "That depends on how good I look in shredded pants." Footsteps echoed above them. The black guard was scanning. He pulled her under a panel and opened a hatch. "What is this?" she whispered. He flashed a grin. Plan B. Inside the hatch was a long tunnel, glowing with blue human wiring. She blinked. This isn't alien-made." He nodded. "Course not. I installed this tunnel last time I was arrested. They thought I was just carving art on the wall. I was building an exit." She stared. "You flirt, you fight, and you plan? All at once?" He smirked. Multitasking. It's sexy, right? She laughed, even though lasers were burning through the ceiling. They crawled fast through the tunnel. Outside, chaos grew. The spider drones were still active, shutting off lights, jamming comms, feeding data into his implanted chip. After 40 meters, they hit a dead end. A steel wall. She stopped. It's blocked, he whispered. Not really. He touched a small glowing wire. The wall hissed, then folded open like a blooming flower. Behind it, a ship, old, rusty, ugly, but undeniably human. She gasped. Is that your ship? He nodded proudly. Stole it from the Galaxian fleet, added Earth tech, named her Second Date. She laughed. You named your ship Second Date? He winked. Well, it flies fast and crashes even faster. They climbed in. The cockpit lit up with blue lights and familiar sounds. He tossed her into the co-pilot seat. Strap in, babe. I'm about to tick off a few more galaxies. She buckled fast. He slammed the ignition. The engine roared. The courtroom shook. Outside, the Blackguard fired everything they had. Lasers blasted the hangar walls, but Second Date was already lifting, already turning, already burning fire beneath its wings. They shot upward, slicing through the station's roof, into the sky, into space. Freedom. But just as she smiled, an alert blinked red. Incoming ship! Galaxian battlecruiser! She gasped. They're blocking our exit path. He leaned back, chewed his bottom lip. Big ship, big weapons. She looked worried. What do we do? He smiled slowly. We flirt. She frowned. With a warship? He tapped the comm. The alien captain's face appeared, angry, green-skinned, armored. You are in violation of Galactic Code 7A. Return now or be destroyed. The human leaned into the mic. Hey, Captain, you ever been rejected by someone hotter, smarter, and more dangerous than you? The alien squinted. What? He grinned. 'Cause it's about to happen again. And then he cut the comm and hit the thrusters. Straight into enemy fire. The stars were shaking. The Galaxian battlecruiser hovered in front of them like a floating mountain, dark, angry, bristling with cannons. Inside his ship, Second Date, the human gripped the controls with one hand and cracked his knuckles with the other. The translator's eyes widened. That thing's twice our size, he interrupted, smirking. Size isn't everything. She raised a brow. You sure? He leaned over and whispered, Want to test that after we survive? She rolled her eyes, but smiled anyway. Then the warning lights exploded red. Incoming missile. He yanked the controls hard. Second Date twisted sideways. Missile scraped past the hull. Too close. The ship shook violently. She screamed, You call that flying? He laughed through gritted teeth. No, I call it flirting. With gravity. Another missile locked on. This one was faster, smarter. She looked at the scanners. It's following heat. He grinned. Then let's give it something hotter to chase. He flipped a switch. The ship's rear vents exploded with excess plasma. The missile veered off, chasing the wrong signal. Boom! He spun the ship under. The enemy cruiser, flying dangerously close to its belly. The translator shouted, You're gonna get us both killed! He winked. Yeah, but imagine how sexy the story'll sound. She clutched the seat. He flew through the cruiser's underbelly, dodging turrets, ducking under fuel pipes. The ship roared. Then he saw it. The docking hatch. Unshielded, exposed. He pointed. That's our back door, sweetheart. She blinked. You want to fly inside the enemy ship? He grinned wider. Ever made love during a crash landing? She didn't answer, just held tighter. Second Date charged forward, spinning, sparking, screaming through metal halls until it landed hard inside the cruiser's hangar. Dust, fire, sparks. The ship was dented, but not dead. Neither were they. He stood up, brushed off smoke, and helped her up. "Welcome to third base." She coughed. "Are you always this dramatic?" He gave her a look. "Darling, I'm Earth's drama department." Outside the ship, alarms were already blaring. Alien troops were swarming the bay. She grabbed a weapon from the locker. Pulse pistols, plasma grenades, smoke mines. She looked him up and down. "You ready for a gunfight?" He smiled. "Sweetheart, this is the part where things get really hot." They kicked open the door and stormed out. Aliens screamed, weapons fired. He ducked left, blasted 2 guards. She rolled right, threw a grenade. It exploded in purple mist. They moved like dancers, sexy, deadly, in sync. One Galaxian general shouted, "Who is this human?" He shouted back, "Just a guy who likes crashing parties and occasionally stealing starships." More enemies came. She fired fast. He threw a mine. "Plan?" she yelled. He pointed up. "The command deck." She raised her pistol. "And after that?" He grinned. "Depends how good you look in the captain's chair." They ran up the metal stairs, past. Soldiers, lasers, smoke. The human kicked open the final door. Inside, the alien admiral, tall, horned, furious. "I will destroy you with my bare hands," he roared. The human laughed. "Everyone keeps saying that. No one ever delivers." The admiral lunged. The human met him halfway. 2 fists clashed. Metal rang. She screamed. The fight had begun. The Galaxian admiral roared and charged like a rhino on fire. But the human didn't step back. He stepped forward. They collided in a brutal clash, fists slamming, metal bending, the floor trembling. The translator aimed her pistol. "Want me to shoot?" He ducked a punch and yelled, "Nope. This one's personal." The admiral swung again, bare claws sharp as blades. The human blocked with his forearm, grunted. "You aliens fight like you've never been dumped before." The admiral growled. "You're arrogant." The human grinned. "Nah, just confident." Arrogant is what happens when confidence goes to college. He spun around and slammed a knee into the admiral's ribs, then grabbed a pipe from the wall and cracked it across his horned skull. The alien staggered. She shouted, "That's your chance! Finish him!" He paused, looked at her, then looked back at the admiral. "Nah, let him live, so he can tell everyone who took his ship." He turned, walked right past the stunned enemy, and sat in the command chair. The admiral growled, "This is my ship!" The human tapped a single button. 4 spider drones dropped from the ceiling, crawling, glowing, buzzing. They surrounded the admiral and locked onto his limbs. One whispered, "Authority reassigned. Earth signature confirmed." The admiral froze in place, held by his own ship. The human smirked. "Like I said, you don't need weapons when you have style." The translator slid into the co-pilot chair beside him. She looked at him, eyes wide. "You just stole a battlecruiser." He looked over. "Technically, I just flirted it into submission." She shook her head. "Okay, I'll admit it. That was hot." He turned slowly. "Hot enough for a reward?" She leaned close, lips inches from his, then whispered, "Maybe after you do one more thing." He raised an eyebrow. "Anything." She pointed at the screen. "All those smaller ships outside, they're waiting for orders." He turned to the fleet interface. Hundreds of Galaxian destroyers floating in orbit, all of them synced to this command ship. He leaned forward, voice low. "Open channel." The mic crackled. All the ships connected. The entire enemy fleet. Now listening. He cleared his throat. "This is your new captain speaking." Aliens across the galaxy blinked in confusion. He continued. "You had a chance to judge me. Instead, you tried to cage me, tried to humiliate me, tried to kill me." He smiled, slow and dark. "But I'm human. We don't bow. We don't break. And we sure as hell don't lose." He looked at the translator, then turned back to the mic. "Your fleet now belongs to Earth." He tapped override. A wave of blue lights spread across the star map. Each ship turned from red to blue. each Galaxian warship, now under his control. The translator gasped. "You just flipped an entire fleet." He leaned back. "And I'm just getting started." But then, alert, incoming broadcast, Galactic High Council. He froze. She stared. No! No, no, no! They found you! He tapped to open the screen. A massive council chamber appeared. 12 ancient alien races, the real power behind the galaxy. The lead counselor spoke. Earth Specimen 001. You are now a Level X threat. You will be hunted across all sectors until you are dead. He smiled into the camera. Cool story, Grandpa. Now watch what a human can do with your ships. He ended the transmission, then turned to the translator. So, still think I need backup? She bit her lip. I think you need a bed. He smirked. Captain's bed is very available. The galaxy had changed. One human, one stolen courtroom, one hijacked battlecruiser, and now an entire alien fleet under Earth control. The human stood at the command deck, eyes scanning the screen. Dozens of ships floated behind him, his ships now. The translator leaned against the console. You just declared war on the Galactic High Council. He smiled. Nah, I just returned their invitation. The Council's warning replayed again on loop. You will be hunted, erased, remembered as nothing. He clicked it off with one finger. Wrong. I'll be remembered as the man who made the galaxy sweat. The translator turned toward him, arms crossed, hips tilted. So, what's the plan, Captain? He looked at her, then at the screen, then at a small blinking icon, Earth. His voice turned colder. They banned me from Earth, stripped my citizenship, said I was too reckless to be trusted. She raised an eyebrow. You? He grinned. Okay. Maybe I did steal a few things. Maybe I did romance a few high command daughters. But come on, I never broke anything I didn't mean to. She walked over to him, face close. And now? He stared out into space. Now I'm going home. But not to beg. He turned to her, eyes dark, voice sharp. I'm going back to Earth, to make them beg me to stay. Suddenly, a message flashed. Earth Defense Grid activated. Identify yourself. The translator whispered, They've locked onto us. He smirked. Of course they did. They always panic when I get too close. He pressed a button. Hologram projection. Earth High Command. Admirals. Generals. Diplomats. Shocked faces. One of them shouted, You're supposed to be in alien custody. He leaned into the camera. Oops. Another general snapped. You are armed. Turn back or be destroyed. He shrugged. I could. But I'd rather show you something instead. He gestured. All the alien ships moved, slowly rotating around Earth, forming a ring of power. Earth's satellites blinked, their defense systems paused. And for the first time in history, Earth saw a human commanding alien fleets, not kneeling to aliens, but leading them. The human tapped the mic again. This is your warning. Your exile failed. Your court failed. The galaxy failed. He paused, let the silence breathe, then added, You wanted me gone. Now the galaxy wants me back. The screen went dark. He turned to the translator. Well? She walked up slow, tugged him by the front of his jacket, pulled him close, and whispered, I think it's time we discuss your reward. Captain. He grinned. Bridge or bed? She smirked. Why not both? And just as they leaned in, alert unknown ships approaching, massive size, non-galactic identity. The smile on his face faded into focus. He stepped toward the screen, a new enemy, something beyond the council, something bigger. He narrowed his eyes. Well, looks like someone wants to crash our after-party. She loaded her weapon. What do we do now? He cracked his neck, flexed his fingers, and whispered with a grin, "Now, we show the real reason aliens fear humans." He turned to the translator and whispered, "If I flex just a little harder, will you testify in my favor?" She laughed, then quickly turned away, cheeks burning. Security bots began to power up. Something was wrong. The human wasn't bending. He was adapting, thriving, plotting. And then, without warning, a soft chime echoed through the court. Every guard paused. Every screen blinked blue. He stood tall, looked up at the flashing lights, and smiled like the devil just got a green light. "Right on time," he whispered. The translator's eyes widened. "What did you just do?" He leaned in close, his breath warm against her neck. "Flirted my way into the system, sweetheart." A final alarm blared, and the walls began to unlock. Alarms were screaming now, but no one moved. The courtroom froze, caught between fear and something more dangerous, curiosity. Metal doors unlatched themselves, slowly hissing open, one by one, each lock releasing like a zipper being undone in slow motion. The translator turned to him, her eyes shaking. "What did you just do?" He stepped closer, so close she could feel the heat coming off his body. "I told you, sweetheart. I talk dirty, but I flirt smart." She looked around, whispering fast. "This is a galactic trial. You're chained, you're unarmed, you're surrounded." He smirked. "And yet, somehow, I'm still the one in control." From behind the walls, hidden compartments opened. Mechanical spiders crawled out, small, slick, and glowing. Not alien tech, Earth tech. His tech. The audience panicked. Guards raised their plasma rifles. The judge shouted, "What are those?" He just turned to the translator again. "Little gifts I left behind last time they captured me. Thought I'd spice up the decor for my next trial." The translator stared at the swarm of metallic spiders crawling across the walls. Pluggy. Into ports, hijacking alien systems. "But how? When?" He winked. "Foreplay, darling. I've been prepping this since they first touched my ship." The judge screamed, "Shut it down! Shut it down!" One of the guards tried to run to the panel. The closest spider bit him. He dropped. Hard. Not dead, just out cold. Paralysis venom. Classic Earth touch. The translator looked at him, voice shaking. "Is this an escape?" He raised an eyebrow. "Oh no, babe. This is foreplay. Escape comes after the screaming." She didn't know whether to slap him or kiss him. The other guards opened fire. He dropped to the ground, rolled beneath the bench, and yanked something out from beneath it. A hidden pulse gun, old and scratched, but clearly human-made. He'd hidden it before the trial. Smart bastard. He stood up fast and fired. Direct hit. 2 guards down. The rest dove for cover. The translator ducked and screamed, "You brought a weapon into a galactic court?" He laughed while recharging the gun. "Brought? No. I left it here after my first trial." A group of spider drones attached themselves to the ceiling, spinning, creating a shimmer, some kind of force field, blocking outside reinforcements. He looked up at the hovering shimmer and whispered, "Showtime." The courtroom lights dropped to red. The room shook. Gasps, screams. Everyone was now locked in. With him. He turned to the translator, who was breathing fast now, adrenaline flooding her perfect figure. He offered his hand. "You coming with me, doll?" She hesitated. "You're chaos." He grinned. "Yeah, but I'm the kind that buys dinner after." She grabbed his hand. Together, they ran toward the central gate. The judge tried one last move, pushing a hidden button under the podium. A panel opened in the floor. From it rose something huge, armored, breathing. The trial in force. They're 10 feet tall, 6 arms, alien metal skin. He growled in a voice that shook the walls. You will not leave this court alive, human. The human stopped running.